What's up guys, how's it going? Name's Pineapple Retro and I want to welcome you all to my YouTube channel. Today I thought we'd do something a little more fun. We are going to do a game room tour. I'm going to show you guys everything, all the consoles I own, and what other good hidden treasures we have. Let's go do it. Alright guys, so I thought we'd go ahead and start with this wall back here first. This is the first bookshelf of many. Up top we got my box Sega Saturn long box Virtual Fighter pack-in. We also have my PS4 Pro 1TB. That is from my former cat Shadow. She rest in peace. We got my 3D control pad in the box. That is a 6-player multi-adapter Saturn. This is my Dreamcast in the box. Not the best quality, but I love the artwork on it. Going down, we got my PS4 shelf. I have my Saren Kagura Peach Beach Splash Special Edition. And I'll just give you guys a quick pan over right now of all the games I have in here. A personal favorite of mine being this one right here, which is Catherine Full Body. Going down to the next shelf, we have my Sega CD stuff. Love the Sega CD, but unfortunately it just does not pop up too quickly in my area. They are very hard to find and expensive. I do have a couple good ones, like Mickey Mania for example, and a classic RPG Vey from Working Designs. Very cool. Right next to it, I just happen to have a Sega Saturn racing wheel. Going down, we have my Sega Saturn collection. I love the Saturn. It is a fantastic console and the third one released by Sega in America. I'm going to go ahead and go across and pan over for you guys real slowly so you guys can see everything. Some personal favorites of mine being Clockwork Knight, Panzer Dragoon, a little more pricey ones like Resident Evil for example, or my most expensive Saturn game, which would be Mega Man X4. Tucked in here, we got some Japanese games, like here's a fun shoot 'em up if you guys ever are into imports. It's called The Game Paradise. Very fun. We got another Saren Kagura Special Edition. I'll move that out the way for you guys real quick. Got a couple Gundams. And we're going to go down to one of the biggest collections I own, which is a PS2. I love the PS2. I grew up with it. And I have a special place in my heart for it always. We got some good ones like Silent Hill 4, Clock Tower 3, Eternal Poison, going on, Gradius, Max Payne series, one of my favorite shooters of all time. I got this bad boy recently. This is a sealed copy of Shin Megami Tensei Devil Summoner 2. Very nice. And if we go down below, we'll see a little bit more PS2, and as you guys can see, it just keeps going. I am running out of shelf room, so eventually, you see some tucked back there, I will have to move the PS2 collection somewhere else. Alright guys, now that we finished off that first shelf, we're going to go on and go to the main set, the best part of the game room, my Jack-in-the-Box portrait. Just joking. We have a 32-inch Magnavox widescreen television. It is an old one back from like 2008 I believe, but it's perfect for my retro consoles. We have a PS4 Pro 1TB of course, my Nintendo Switch. Back here is a 8-port composite switcher. It is a brand that I bought on Amazon known as MT Vicky. It works perfect for what I need. Next going on, we have my white PS2 Slim. That is the Wii U gamepad special edition for Zelda Wind Waker. And this over here is just one of my old Dell laptops that I currently have hooked up to my TV, so when I want to watch Netflix or Twitch, I can do so with ease. Going down, we have my Sega Saturn Model 1. This is my Sega Sports Dreamcast, a Genesis Model 2 with also a Sega CD Model 2 attached to it, and of course a Platinum GameCube. And now for the last shelf all the way on the bottom, we have my special edition N64 Pokemon, and if you didn't know, if you turn on the console, the cheeks light up. Next to that, we got my Super Nintendo. And of course, we got the Wii U. I got a couple of the special Wii remotes on top, like Luigi and Peach. And last and not least, we have my Halo Edition Xbox. Moving on from the TV, I thought I'd show you guys my current Twitch streaming setup. I have a 32-inch wide curved Samsung monitor, a 1080p webcam called Uukey, A-U-K-E-Y. You can find them on Amazon. I got a HyperX keyboard and a Razer Medusa mouse. And here's my Blue Yeti microphone and the grandbaby, my gaming PC. A couple plushies up here. That's the dog plush from Persona Q2 3DS Special Edition. My gaming chair. And last but not least, I have a JVC Xi over here. It's not currently working at the moment, but I will get to it when I get to it. I also have this really cool vintage 80s Nintendo toy chest. And now for the second best part of the game room, another Jack in the Box portrait. This one's pretty funny. Male cheerleaders with hairy bellies. Funny story about these Jack in the Box pictures. My mom used to work corporate in Jack in the Box over in San Diego. And so when she finally retired, I got to inherit them. I love them very much, and they're great conversation starters when friends come over. Now time to talk about the main elephant in the room. We're going to go ahead and go for this back wall right here. We're going to start right over here on the side. We got my awesome game room sign that was given to me as a Christmas present from my mom. I'm going to go ahead and turn that off. And let's go right into the first shelf. This is my handheld section, or a part of it at least. I have a box Neo Geo Pocket Color, a box purple 3DS, my box lime green and white PS Vita, and right now we go straight into my PS Vita collection. I am a huge fan of the Vita, some of my favorite games being the Project Diva games, Seren Kagura, we got Persona 4 Golden, which is great, Going Down, Soul Reaver, Tokyo Girls Conception 2, and right down here you can tell when I start running out of room, but here's the end of my Vita collection. We could start off with some of my DS games, Izuna 2, my 3DS collection down here, and some more DS games over here. Going back up, I figured we'd start off with the top of the shelf first. I'll give you a quick pan over it, real quick. Going over here at the top, we have a Game Boy case. We have a special value edition of the Wii that included both Wii Sports and Wii Sports Resort. On top of that, we have Mario Kart Wii and the Wii Wheel Bundle. We have one of my favorite box consoles in the entire collection, The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker Wii U. Going over again, we have the Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival Wii U set, the Twilight Princess Legend of Zelda Wii U set, and the Persona 4 Vita Dancing All Night Special Edition. Below that, we have my box Super Nintendo Super Scope, some more little knickknacks here and there. We got a Betamax Pop, a Ash Ketchum figure, my King Ghidorah Beanie Baby. I'm a big Godzilla fan. Going up top, we have the SNES Junior. We have a Sega Pico Japanese box edition. We have my NES Power Set, one of the biggest boxes in my collection. A pineapple plush. You guys will start noticing a theme here soon. We have my Calico Cat Piggy Bank, an NES Classic Edition. Up top is what's really special, a Sega Genesis Model 2, the core system. That is the first box console I ever bought to start my game collection. Down below we got my Halo Master Chief Xbox, another pineapple, a sealed Master System control pad. We got some Inuyasha figures, we got a House of the Dead 2 gun set, and of course the box for my Nintendo Switch. Going for this first shelf right here, we have my GameCube collection. Some of my favorites being Skies of Arcadia Legends, Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, and of course Super Monkey Ball. Got my Cuphead plush, we'll move him. Going down to the next shelf, we have more GameCube stuff, a little more filler titles, but with GameCube being so expensive nowadays, I try to pick them up when I can. Here is Gypsy from one of my favorite TV shows, Mystery Science Theater 3000. I've found that when you collect games, you start collecting knickknacks as well. Here's my very small Switch collection, going straight into Wii U. Personal favorite being Mario Kart 8, Xenoblade Chronicles X, and of course Shantae Half Genie Hero. Next shelf we have my Wii collection, the second biggest collection of games that I do own. Couple of the good ones, heavy hitters like Kirby, Last Story, Tatsunoko vs. Capcom. I just picked this one up recently, Fire Emblem Radiant Dawn. Metal Slug games, the Mario parties of course. And going down to this last bottom shelf, we have some more Wii titles. My Wii fighting stick, very cool. And a Burger Time little mini arcade thing. Going on to the shelf in the middle, I have some of my Super Nintendo games. Some of my personal favorites being Turtles in Time, Final Fantasy III, and A Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past. Some more right there. I have my very small but humble NES collection. I love the NES, my mom had one, and I played it growing up. I don't have too many crazy titles, but I do own Bucky O'Hare. Going down, we have the start of my small TurboGrafx collection. That Magical Chase is a repro. We have my gold N64 Toys R Us edition. Back here you can see some N64 games. A very special one being this not for resale Jet Force Gemini, which if you didn't know are demo unit kiosks. Over here is some Neo Geo Pocket games. Cool to own, really don't display too well though. And now time for the real expensive stuff. We have my Neo Geo AES games. I have World Heroes 2, Art of Fighting, Fatal Fury, Riding Hero, and the Neo Geo AES is not region locked, so you can play Japanese cards on it. So that is Samurai Showdown, Real Bout Fatal Fury Special. That one is King of Fighters 94, and last is Fighters History Dynamite, also known as Karnov's Revenge here in the States. That is for the Neo Geo X. I do not own one yet, but I figure one day I will pick one up. The few boxed Neo Geo Pocket Color games I do own, and the boxes for those TurboGrafx games. Going down below, we have the start of my original Xbox collection. I do enjoy the original Xbox, and I do wish I kind of delved into the library a little bit more, but there's always time for that. Personal favorite being Panzer Dragoon Orta and Dino Crisis 3. Going down, I have the start of the few DVDs I still own. This is my Godzilla collection. I got some anime in there too, some cartoons I enjoyed like Adventure Time and Teen Titans. Messy down here, and I do apologize, but when you own as many consoles as I do, eventually you just run out of room. But I do have my Atari 2600 down here. That was a gift from a friend. And in here we have some PS1 consoles and some extra Genesis consoles that I do own. And now on to the third shelf. Up top, I kind of made this little display for all of my handhelds. So back there we got my TurboGrafx 16 Express, a blue Sega Game Gear, very cool, my white Star Wars Edition PSP, an indigo colored Game Boy Advance, and in here is a special Dreamcast controller. Think like Club Nintendo back day for Sega. So you can buy Dreamcast games in Japan, and once you accumulate enough points, you can get little things like controllers or even posters. So that is a special camouflage controller. Back there is a sealed PSP battery pack. We got my silver Neo Geo Pocket, a black PS Vita, my NES Game Boy Advance, a blue Game Boy Advance SP, and that's the NES Advanced SP. We got a Pokemon Game Boy Color, the silver Pokemon Game Boy Color, a yellow, a teal blue, and a lime green. Moving on to the next one, we have the start of my 360 collection, and that is one of the consoles I spent the most time on when I was a teenager. I love it very much. Here's a couple cool ones. Favorites being Death Smiles, Radiant, Bully Scholarship Editions, another great one. I got some of my big box 3DS collector editions like Persona Q2 and Corpse Party. Going down, Max Payne 3, another great game. And we got Finn and Jake, of course. And going down, we have my PS3 collection. PS3 was a console I never owned back when it was relevant, but I am slowly finding myself buying more and more PS3 games now and really enjoying the library. I particularly enjoy playing the Uncharted series, and of course, good old RPGs, so Kingdom Hearts, AR Teleka, the Neptunia series, there's some more Project Diva, love those rhythm games, Persona 5, and if you guys ever want a fun 2D fighting game that's a little bit under the radar, Aquapaza by Atlas is a fun one for sure. And last but not least, on the bottom is more storage. I have some of my Dreamcast arcade sticks, a power pad, some extra box stuff, and extra controllers. And that's about it for the main wall. Alright guys, now that we've done the main wall, we're going to go over here and talk about my last free media shelves that I have in my game room. Starting off, we'll talk about my pride and joy. The collection I am most proud of is my Sega Dreamcast collection. I am currently going for a full Dreamcast set, and I believe I am 127 out of the 247 that were released. Starting up top, we got a Dreamcast magazine that talks about Grandia 2 and Skies of Arcadia. I have my boxed Sega Dreamcast keyboard. Going down to the next shelf, this game right here is a game by the Neo Geo dev team, Neo Geo XYX. Right next to it, we have another fan-made game. This is FX Yuki, a love letter to the PC Engine, but received a Dreamcast port as well. Going over, I know what you guys are thinking. Why do you have 2 copies of Marvel vs. Capcom? One of them has Marvel vs. Capcom 2 disc only. It's just the way I found it. Here's a favorite of mine, Gunbird 2. Classic shoot 'em up. Going down to the next shelf, we have some more good stuff. Wacky Races is the great one if you guys want to try a Dreamcast game out. Here's another cool promotional thing I found while thrifting. This is a Space Channel 5 promotional lunchbox, I believe given out at a trade show. I'm not entirely sure, not too much information about it online. We got a boxed Sega Dreamcast RF adapter. And now we're getting into some of my favorite games like Jet Grind Radio, Grandia 2. Here's some of the more heavy hitters for the Dreamcast. This is Ill Bleed. Pretty cool horror game making fun of the B-movie thriller slashers, if you ever seen those. Here's one of the most expensive games I own, Cannon Spike. I never thought I'd own this, but I got lucky. You got Skies of Arcadia, Typing of the Dead, Sonic Adventure 2. There's another good one right there. Resident Evil 3 Outbreak and Capcom vs. SNK. And down below, I have my PSP collection. Not the biggest, but I do have some cool ones like Castlevania, Dracula Chronicle X, Bust a Move, Def Jr. 2, Roots of Evil, and tucked in right here is my extra Super Scope. If you heard meowing, that's because that is my calico cat, Mochi. She is 7 years old, and she is quite sassy and loud. What do you got to say for yourself, kid? If you're happy and you know it, say meow. If you're happy and you know it, say meow. If you're happy and you know it and you really want to show it, if you're happy and you know it, say meow. Well, that last meow was a little more of a scream, but good enough, kid. 10 out of 10. Alright, going on a little more on the top, we have some of my Sonic plushies. I have Dr. Robotnik or Eggman, depending on how you feel. My favorite Sonic character is Tails. And Plankton. We got some box DK bongos. This is a third-party Samba de Amigo Dreamcast Maraca set, but I love the artwork on it. Check that out, guys. How cool is that? And 2 of my favorite RPGs, Lunar and Lunar 2 Eternal Blue. Going down, we have my Sega Genesis collection. Got all the Sonic games, got Streets of Rage 2, Shinobi Free, Green Dog, Toe Jam and Earl. Here's a cool one. This is made by somebody at Cat House Games. They ported a Sailor Moon beat 'em up over here for the Genesis. Very cool. Love it. I love Sailor Moon, so I'm into it. One of the hardest games to play, but super fun. Ghouls and Ghosts. We got Ys Free, Lance Doctor, both of the Vector Mans. Road Rash games, always a grand time. I got a few loose cart games over here. This is Sonic and Knuckles. Back when they didn't have DLC, so you had to plug the cart back into it. These are 3D glasses for the Sega Master System. Going down, we got my very tiny 32X collection. I do not own a 32X, but like anything that's rare and uncommon, if I find it for a good price, I will pick it up. Going down below, we got the last 2 Genesis games, Caesar Palace and Monopoly, and my very tiny Master System collection. I do have some cool ones like Lord of the Sword and Outrun. Now you might see this little container down here and wondering what this is. This is how I store my loose Game Boy games. Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, and so on. The next drawer is my Sega Game Gear games. And below that is just some extra manuals for those Game Gear games and the such. And now for the last shelf of the game room, I have my PS1 collection. The PS1 has been a great console to collect for. I'm always finding new fantastic games on it. I'm going to start off with shelf number 1. We got Intelligent Cube, both of the Toomba games, tons of fun, Dragon Warrior 7, and even a fun one called Ghost in the Shell. This one's kind of shot up in price recently. I'm really surprised. Used to be about a $80 game, but is now shot up to about $140. Here's a cool RPG, Thousand Arms, another Atlas game. It is a dating sim and JRPG all in one. If that doesn't sound ridiculous, I don't know what is. Got the Final Fantasies, Guardians Crusade, another fun one, Contra, the Crash Bandicoot games, Twisted Metal. It just goes on and on and on. So much good stuff, guys. Down below we got my one PS1 long box game, Battle Arena Toshinden, and the last couple stragglers on the bottom. So now that we got this back wall, we're gonna go past Mochi's den. This is Mochi's setup. And last but not least, I have my 32-inch Sony Trinitron CRT, which I use for all my light gun games and older consoles. Hooked up to this at the moment, I have my Nintendo Entertainment System, my Sega Master System, and my holy grail, my number one thing I'm most proud of as a game collector, my Neo Geo AES console. I love this thing, it's a lot of fun. Even though most of the library is fighting games and I am terrible at it, the sprite work that SNK had accomplished back then in the 90s is nothing to scoff at for sure. Fun little side story about this Neo Geo AES console that I have in my hands right here. The reason why this is so special to me is that ever since I started game collecting 4.5 years ago, I always had one goal, and that was I wanted to own a Neo Geo AES. I used to play the MVS arcade cabinets all the time as a kid with my brother and sister at the movie theater, and I loved playing games such as Metal Slug and King of Fighters. So I never thought I'd get one. Every time I got close to finding one, I could never agree on the price with the seller, and it just seemed like it was out of reach. It was an insanely priced console, especially for its time. One day, I got off work, I saw a sign that said estate sale all day. And it's about 4 in the afternoon at this point. I figured there wouldn't be anything left. But I decided that I would stop just in case. I walked up and I asked the guy, do you have any old video games? He told me no. And a good tip that I've found is that when people say no, they're not typically thinking of video games. So it's better if you list things out to them. So I asked him if he had any Nintendo, Sega, Game Boys, TurboGrafx, and Neo Geo. Neo Geo, I kind of saw like the light bulb turn on in his eyes. He said, Neo Geo, how do you know what that is? I have one of those, I just lost the games for it. Let me go see if I can find it. And it ended up taking about 40 minutes. He digged it out of this shed in his backyard, covered in dust. I almost was afraid it wouldn't work. He turned it on, the screen flashed blue on the TV, and I knew that it was good to go. And now came the part where I was thinking, how much is this guy going to possibly charge me? Is he going to ask $300? Is he going to ask $200? Nope. He looked at me in the eye and said, you know what, kid, how about $100? And to this day, I still have not beaten that score. I really wish I would have started YouTube earlier to film it for you guys, but that it is. That is my best game collecting story and a small little treat for you for this video. Thank you guys so much for joining me on this 2020 Game Room Tour, the inaugural video of the Pineapple Retro YouTube channel. Do you guys have game rooms similar to mine? I would love to see pictures or videos down in the comments. Also, if you have any questions about my setup, certain consoles, or even a certain game that you saw passing by on the shelf, let me know. I'll be hanging around in the comments to answer any questions from you guys. If you enjoy my content and you want to see more, I would really appreciate it if you liked and subscribed because it really helps my channel grow. Finally, if you do want to see more live content from me, I do stream on Twitch regularly, every Tuesday and Wednesday and Friday and Saturday, 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I think I'm going to get to streaming now. See you later.